Wednesday, March the 14th, 2018, and I'm back in the Kentish Weald in the village of Wadhurst. I haven't been down this way for a long time, so I've taken the opportunity today of using the newly opened tunnel between North Hertfordshire and the south of the river. So today I was able to jump on what is effectively a ghost train while they test a new tunnel under St Pancras. So I can now get from North Hertfordshire. This train that I was on today was headed to Horsham, and ultimately will be able to get me down to Brighton, Sevenoaks and such places. Still taken me 2.5 hours to get down here, but means I haven't got to change onto the underground, which is brilliant. New timetable comes into effect in May, I believe, so at the moment they're only testing 1 or 2 trains, and I was lucky enough to be able to get the 10:30 to use the network card, but it now means that it's 1 PM, so quite a late start, and consequently there probably won't be a lunch stop. So no churches on this walk, I wouldn't have thought, for such a stop. Might have a pit stop, but that'll be about it. Darkness today about 6 o'clock, walking till about past, so need to press on. Doing about 10.5 miles today, so should just about be able to squeeze that in. Very much commuter belt here. Pleasant day, about 14 degrees, which is incredibly mild compared to what we had last weekend when I got trapped in Dublin by the snow and ice and cancelled ferries, lockdown, etc, etc. Nightmare weekend I had. Tricky bit of road walking there for 60 metres between here and the station. Now taking this left turn towards Woods Green. Nor to turn off there towards Rock Robbing Cottages. Had to take this bridleway off the road, and I noticed there's something here called Paths to Prosperity, which will disappear once we leave the EU, because it looks like it's funded by, I know, that's the Sussex County Council, isn't it? So that'll be okay, good. However, bridleways and the Weald mean only one thing: mud. So here's a lovely example of the kind of scenery you get down in the Weald. Do love this area, as I've said on previous walks. Reminds me of times gone by. Crossing over a lovely little woodland stream. Looks like this is good bluebell territory in season, as the young plants are already bursting through. Another 5-6 weeks they'll be out. Pleasant high hedged country lane. No doubt last week this was snowed in. Onward journeys here through Great Shoesmith's Farm. Pleasant valley shot from the path up to Great Shoesmith's Farm. Ignore the footpath to the right up that stone drive, and instead head towards these oast buildings, or former oasts. I can hear a buzzard somewhere. Interesting that the kites haven't got down here yet. Plenty of buzzards though. At this point, you don't take the bridleway straight ahead, but turn right towards that stile in the corner. First one of the day. Past this pond on the left and towards that field gate in the corner there. Very pleasant day, about 14 degrees as I said earlier. A bit breezy, well not breezy because that implies cool. It's quite a pleasant warm wind actually. Lovely for walking. It's not that gate in the corner, but this one here with the footpath marker next to it. Okay, at this point just beyond the pond, it gets confusing. There's no indication of where you're meant to be heading apart from the far side of the field, right edge of the woods. Looking back at whence we've come, the instructions indeed have been previously commented upon at this juncture, and it is confusing, but I think I've found the right place. This is the clump of trees. Here is the pond on your left. The onward journeys ahead there through that gap in the hedge, I do believe. Indeed. Anyway, that field is quite muddy, could be quite a trudge in wet weather. I mean, it's been quite wet recently, but it's drying out quickly now. March winds. Lots of redundant stiles and broken down fences. But essentially look out for this piece of machinery here and you'll be on the right track. That's the path that I've just trod. Almost like green sand that we're walking on here. Exceedingly muddy and slippy. Wonderful views down here. Just about to do a right somewhere after this tennis court. Point 18 of the text refers to a new path developing the other side of the thicket here. It's actually worse and muddier than the old path next to the hedge, so I'd advise you take that one. Lovely selection of crocuses here, with the daffs not far behind. Blue tit on my right somewhere. In fact, they weren't blue tits, looked like either coal or marsh tits, couldn't tell, one or the other. And on this driveway the daffs are out. Wonderful, just in time for Easter, 2 weeks hence. "21" refers to this village green, hummock. We continue on straight ahead towards that willow tree, I think. Walk past these houses, up the Sussex border path, through this gate and on up the grassy path. Point 22 of the text. Signage for the Sussex border path has changed now, sponsored by Sussex Ramblers. All these years later, must be what, 5 years I think since I last walked down this way. Still no evidence of the stiles being replaced with kissing gates. Obviously 5 years on, mobility wise, it's a bit harder to get over these things now, especially with an artificial implant. News agents in Coulsley Wood. 3 mile in, 1 hour 20. This is the recommended pub. The Old Vine, which doesn't look like it's actually active at the minute. Just gone 2 o'clock. Didn't see that first time round. 15:15. Some age. First time I've ever seen that in all my years of walking. Considerate farmer. That cat is making use of its elevated position to get the rays. Today's first view of Bewl Reservoir. Which would explain why it's suddenly got a bit windier. Wonderful. Wonderful flower to see. Cluster of primroses. So uplifting. This quiet lane down to Bewl Reservoir makes a pleasant respite from all that slippy mud, to be honest with you. Quite tough going. Just in front of Bewl Water Circular. Wonderful residence. I've just seen the owner come out in his Range Rover. We do a left here by the fence. Lovely scenery round about here in the Weald. Never seems to be much in the way of wildlife going on though. Probably because it's the middle of the afternoon. Now entering the Woodland Trust property. Specifically is where we're at. As you can see, this is a reservoir that doesn't have any fences or such around it. As you can see, unlike in the summer months, this reservoir is lapping at the edges at the minute. Chock-a-block. To the right, another classic Kentish scene. Orchards. Clearly this signage is currently being ignored, as you can see from all the cycle tracks in the mud presently. Can't see any horse hooves though, but plenty of cyclists ignoring the instruction. Lovely scene there. Nice little memento there. I think I'll take 5, have a quick cup of tea. Not sure what that is, but while having my pit stop, just noticed that boat out there on the reservoir. Not sure if it's a ferry or a maintenance vessel. There was reference to a ferry. That signage about not cycling. Certainly not kidding there today. This is certainly a very pleasant section of the walk. Could be up in the Peak District or the lakes or anywhere else other than an hour from London. Filling up the old reservoir. Wonderful. So there you go, Comwell and Pig, or Coomwell. Very quiet in these woods. Quite amazing really that you can get down to the waterside. Probably because it's not very highly frequented, this area. See, this is why we can't have shared usage. Cyclists ignore the warnings, creating mayhem and ruts. Look at this. When they're not even meant to be on it. Makes walking quite difficult. So that's a shortcut for those that want to go back to Wadhurst quickly. 1 mile. Our onward journey on this main walk, and I don't think I've even given the walk title today. This is a Water Circular via Bewl Walk 5. Quite amazing actually, free walk 5, and I haven't done it before. Anyway, it's 3.5 miles now on the main walk from here back to the station. Wonderful jungle like scenery here. This is a second inlet referred to in the text at point 42, and as you can see, water level very high, as you'd expect this time of the year. Good to see. There you go. Looks like you can do 10 miles circular of this water, which is probably what attracts the cyclists. 10-mile circuit on a bike. Good evening's work. So apparently in the summer, when the water's in use, heavily in use, you might not even get any water at this point, just green grass like this. Okay, at this juncture we now leave Bewl Water, following this Bewl Water route sign, uphill. Point 50 of the text, got a couple of options here. You can continue straight on to do the main walk, which is what I'm going to do, or on a good summer's day perhaps, or when it's certainly drier underfoot, you do a left here and do a further 4 miles to Wadhurst. Whereas the variation I'm doing is 2.4 miles to Wadhurst. But I think that means to Wadhurst village as opposed to the station. So another 1.5 miles on top of that, I think. Wealden walks. Lots of timber works and tree felling going on around here at the moment. Suppose I need to get it done before trees come into leaf, birds nest, etc. Further views of Bewl in the distance there. Wadhurst church spire in the distance. Wonderful Wealden views again. Sheep in this field. Wonderful view back. Wonderful view here from around about 110 metres. And notice a young lamb there with number 7. Survived the snow last weekend anyway. Could be another lot this weekend though, that's a problem. Beast from the east part 2 I'm hearing. why I'm out today. It's hard to believe. A week on, quite warm temperatures, and here's some of the snow still here. There were probably very high piles of it down here though, I'd have thought. What an imposing building this is. I think it's been converted into flats, as there's one marked up as laundry flat and laundry cottage. So probably converted from its original use, whatever that would have been. Possibly an institution by the looks of it. Onward journey down these steps as we descend. There's the old hosts. Views from whence I've come again, with that big institution up on the hill there. Another pocket of snow, explaining why it's so wet underfoot and muddy. Last style of the day, as far as I know, in memory of John Jefferson. So it's 5 o'clock, I'm now at the Greyhound, the recommended evening tea time stop. There's a bus in about 5 minutes, but I think I'll persevere and walk, aiming for the 6:15 train, I believe. As you can see here, I've decided to walk rather than wait for the bus, which was due in 5 minutes, but I'm a walker. Now the White Hart, a couple of hundred yards up the road, as you can see, does coffees and teas, albeit takeaway ones. There's the famous Wealden Whole Foods. Just leaving Wadhurst now. Always got the old chippy van. Don't know if he's there every night or when he turns up, but okay, 5:30. I've only just missed the 17:24 in the wind, but there you go. So just over 10 miles of walking in about 4 hours. Very pleasant it was as well. Quite tough though, because again, as with the Thames walks of late, it's like walking in treacle and slippery. That'll be down to the thawing snow during the week, no doubt. But otherwise, that'll be a cracking walk to do in the summer. You could do the full 12-mile version then. Beautiful. Lots of variety down here in the Weald. I never saw a soul on the whole walk. Just me and Mother Nature. Kind of walk I enjoy. Woodland, a bit of water. Especially the woodland though. So, free walk, or SWC5, completed after all these years. And very pleasant it was. Didn't stop at the Greyhound because of the connection from there to here. Was contemplating something to eat today, but which is unusual. But it's, you know, it's over a mile walk down, and last bus is about 6, I think. So get something on the way back in London. Very good walk though, highly recommended.